Ancestor Media. Israel Putnam was a courageous leader and fighter. He was known for his reckless courage and fighting spirit when it came to hunting wolves or serving with the Rogers Rangers in the British military in his early days. But by far, one of his most glorious stands was the Battle of Bunker Hill against the British in 1775. As a young man at age 22, Putnam moved to Mortlake, which is now modern-day Pomfret, northeastern Connecticut. Putnam mainly went there because the cost of land was cheap, but upon arriving he had the problem of wolves roaming the land. Throughout the years, wolves have been a persistent problem to the farmers in the area due to the killing of their sheep and livestock. It wasn't until Putnam arrived that he decided to make a name for himself and rid the area of all the wolves. With the help of the local farmers, Putnam rallied hunting parties and rid the area of the wolf threat. After a few years, Putnam served in the British military with the Rogers Rangers during the French and Indian War. The Rogers Rangers was a special operations company that conducted unconventional or special light infantry operations in the French and Indian War. They were known for gathering information on the French and hostile Indian forces that were against the British. Putnam led a company of Rangers in an attack on Fort Carillon in 1759, and then marched on Montreal in 1762, which led to the valuable reconnaissance information that led to the British defeating the French in both areas. But none of those acts compares to the bravery and courage that Putnam displayed during the upcoming American Revolution. Bunker Hill was a strategic location that overlooked north of Boston. Both the American and British forces knew whoever controlled the hill controlled the city. Israel Putnam was one of the commanders sent to defend the strategic location. Already knowing he was outnumbered and outsupplied, Israel Putnam led the Americans to defend the hill at all costs. After the battle, the British took the hill, but at great cost. Sustaining heavy casualties, the British had a total of 300 deaths and 800 wounded, 62 of which were officers. During the battle, the American forces only had 5 rounds of ammunition per man and were outnumbered by 600 British troops. As the battle raged on, Israel Putnam urged the Americans to push on through the relentless volleys of musket and cannon fire by the British. Putnam yelled to only fire when you see the whites of their eyes in order for the troops to make every shot count before they eventually retreated from Bunker Hill. Due to the leadership and guidance of Israel Putnam, the American forces later took the hill back because of the high casualties inflicted upon the British during the battle. Israel Putnam was a natural leader. He extinguished the wolf threat in his town as a young man, led his company of rangers in multiple assaults on the French, and eventually led his troops to victories everyone thought impossible. But most of all, he was part of the influencing factor that made all Americans believe that the British could be defeated, which led the Patriots to fight on throughout the American Revolution, and eventually to win the War of Independence.